Welcome back to New Day Cleveland. Okay, we're focusing on your finances with the help of Tony D'Amico from Fidato Wealth. And this is a very important segment today because we're going to talk, we talk a lot about money. We talk about a lot of different people have different plans and things to do with the money and all that sort of thing. But you almost never know if you're getting, the right thing.
The right advice.
Somebody's selling you something or whatever. So I heard this word called fiduciary, and somebody told me you're a fiduciary. Now, is that a dirty word?
No, it's not. That's a good one. So, fiduciary has been talked a lot about quite a bit in the news lately and what that means for financial advisors. So when a financial advisor has a fiduciary duty, what that means is that by law, they have to act in your best interests. So from a legal standpoint, there's no higher level of care that's legally required than the fiduciary duty. Now, some advisors actually do not have a fiduciary duty, and they're held to what's called the suitability standard. So it's also a legal definition, it's in the law, and what that means is that they have to generally do what's suitable for you at the time of them selling a product, which is typically done on a commission basis, not always, but typically on a commission basis, and then after that product is transacted, they don't have any legal duty to you whatsoever.
Okay, so I'm going to buy something. Do I buy something from a fiduciary?
I would. So
Yeah?
yes, if my mom needed a financial advisor, I would ask her to work with a fiduciary or somebody who's a certified financial planner.
But more than just selling stuff, you also organize stuff and sort of guide people then.
Absolutely. It's really about taking a look at their whole comprehensive financial plan.
So in the beginning, it's not about, we don't get in touch with you because we're looking to buy something. We're going to you because we want to get organized and go the right direction.
Correct. It's really about somebody taking a holistic approach with your finances, getting to know you and your goals, and then really mapping out a plan to help address where you want to be. At the end of the day, it's about living life and having a financial plan that helps you enjoy your family and the goals that you have during your working years and after your working years.
Well, you get a whole bunch of stuff when you're young, like maybe it's the beginning of a retirement, or Social Security's coming, or you got a 401k, or you got this, you got that, you got this. And in the beginning, what you're doing with it may not be the right thing to be doing with it when you're older and close to retirement, right?
That's correct. Your life is changing and your financial plan has to change with it. And really one of the best things that I can tell your viewers to do is really understand, if you're looking for an advisor, what kind of advisor are they? Some people think that all advisors are fiduciaries, and that's not the case. So I think
How do you know if they're a fiduciary?
That's a good question. So I guess one stat to throw out there first is that there's 310,000 financial advisors in the country. Do you have an idea what percentage of them have a fiduciary duty?
I'm not so sure.
Okay, about 10%. So only about 31,000 advisors out of the 310,000 have a fiduciary duty.
And they're legally required to make sure they give you the bird's eye lowdown that's on the money.
Correct. Now, here's what makes it even a little bit more complicated. So I want to give some specific tips to your viewers. Is some advisors are also duly registered. So out of that 31,000, you might have some advisors that are fiduciaries in one capacity, but not in another. So out of those 31,000,
they're a half and half.
There's only 5,000 advisors.
Which are you?
A true fiduciary across all advice.
There we go.
So I really think it comes down to advisor selection to make sure that you're getting the right story, because anybody can make something sound good and appealing.
Well, somebody can say something to you, and you're almost intimidated to ask them, like, "Hey, are you a fiduciary, or are you as good as a fiduciary? Is there any way? Can you get that in writing? That's a guarantee."
Yeah. So some tips that come to mind as far as what I would want my mom to look for in an advisor is, are they willing to put it in writing that they're going to be a fiduciary to you across all advice? Now, chances are you may get some resistance when we look at the number of advisors that are fiduciaries across all advice.
So people could misrepresent themselves, but if they write the paper, then they're legally bound.
Exactly. And there's some other questions too that they can ask. So one is, are you a registered investment advisor? So a registered investment advisor has a fiduciary duty to their clients. So you want that answer to be yes. But again, there's that gray area that even some fiduciaries are working in. You also want to ask them, are you affiliated with a broker-dealer? Because if they are, then they could get commissions.
Sounds like there's a lot of questions here, and here we're going to talk about this. You know what? Would you come back later in the show and we'll talk
That'd
some more
be
about this?
awesome.
Why don't we
Great.
do that? Because we've got a great idea for an educational course that you might be interested in, you should be interested in, especially between 50 and 70, and a whole lot more questions to talk about. So we'll do that a little bit later in the show.